Hey guys, welcome to another lecture from Python 0 to Hero, and in this lecture we're going to be learning about lists. So lists are ordered sequences that can contain a variety of object types such as int, float, strings, etc. They use commas and brackets in order to separate objects in the list, as shown here. Indexing and slicing is supported by lists, just as in strings we can use indexing and slicing. Okay, so let's jump into Jupyter Notebook, and today I'll show you how to create lists, how to index and slice lists, the basic list methods, and how to nest list. Okay, so let's jump right into it. So here I've opened up a new Jupyter Notebook. Let's change the name to list Python. Okay, let's start by assigning a list to a variable. Okay, I'm gonna name the variable a list. Let me make it all lowercase letters. So I'm going to put these values in the list. Let me just check that. Alright, and as mentioned before, our list can contain different types of objects. So we can put a string, an integer, a floating point, all in the same list. Okay, and just like in strings, we're able to check the length of the list. That should give us 3. Yep. So let's jump into indexing and slicing with the list. First, let me create a markdown. Indexing and slicing. Okay, so indexing and slicing works just like in strings. Here, I'm going to make a string. Actually, I will work with a string that I've already created before, and I'll show you how this works. So we have this list that we created before. Now, in order to grab an element at index 0, we would simply, just like in string, we would do that. And in order to grab index 1 and everything past it, we could use slicing and do this. Okay, so let me show you another example of slicing. So I'm going to grab everything up to index 3. Right there, so everything up to index 3 is grabbed. As we only have 3 elements, there's no difference, but however, if I do that, then everything up to index 2 is grabbed. We're also able to concatenate lists just like we did for strings, so we can concatenate lists just like that. Oh, not that. We use square braces. Fresh item. Okay. As you can see, we have concatenated item and it is shown there. However, it does not change on the original list. In order for it to be saved in the original list, we would have to save it like that. And now the concatenated item is there. Okay. So, just like in strings, we can also use multiplication in order to do duplication method. Okay, so if I do this, multiply by 2, as you can see, there's a duplication of this. However, as mentioned above, it is not saved. In order for us to save it, we would have to assign it to a new variable. Okay, so let's assign it to this variable equals this times 2. Now, if we look at a list, B list, then you should see the duplication is printed here. Okay, that's indexing and slicing for list. Now we're going to look at basic list methods. Let me turn it into markdown. So let's go ahead and explore some methods for list. Okay, let's create a new list, list1. Actually, I'm going to name it my list. My list equals 1, 2, and 3. Okay, now if you want to look at the methods that's built in, then we just simply do that and press tab, and all the available methods should be displayed. Alright, so let me first show you how to append to a list permanently. Appended item, let me just name it appended item. Now as you can see, if I check my list, the item has been appended. Okay, there's another method that is really useful, and it's called the pop. Again, you can press tab and you should see all the available methods. I'd like to use pop, and what this does is it removes the item at the end. Okay, so item at the last index, but also you can specifically choose which item you'd like to pop off. Okay, now let's look at some examples. So let me show you something. If I do my list.pop without adding the parentheses, then I'll get this. Okay, I need to use the parentheses in order to pop the item. Now the item has been removed. As you can see, the item is no longer there. However, this item is not saved anywhere, so for us to do that, let me just append the item again. Let's see if it's there. Yep, it's there. So let me save it to popped item. Now it's removed from my list. However, we have a new variable, popped item, which has this value in there. Okay, and as I mentioned before, you can also specify the item you want to pop. So let me pop the value in index 2, which is 3. Now my list does not have 3. Okay, let's look at some more methods. So let's reverse the list. Okay, currently the list is 1 and 2 in that order. Now if I look at it, now it's 2 and 1 as it's been reversed. Okay, and just like that, you can go ahead and explore all these methods. Some of them are really useful, some of them not so much. Okay, now we're going to look at nesting list. Nesting list, I'm going to turn that into Markdown. So Python has this advanced feature called list comprehension. However, in order to understand that, we need to understand loops. So we'll be covering list comprehension in the future lectures. For now, let's look at nesting list. Okay, so this is a great feature in Python, nesting. This means that we can have data structures within data structures, meaning that we can have a list inside a list. That allows for a lot of possibilities. Okay, so let me first create a few lists. So list 1, 2, 3. Nope, gotta add a equal sign there. Let me create another list, call it list 4, 5, 6. Let's create one more list, call it, assign it the values 7, 8, and 9. Let's run all that, and these lists are created. Now we're going to create something similar to a matrix, and we're going to put a list inside the list. So matrix is a list that contains list 1, list 2, and list 3. Now let me show you what matrix looks like. So matrix contains the values in list 1, list 2, and list 3. Okay, now we can grab the values inside these lists too. Okay, so let me show you how we do that. Keep in mind, now there are two levels for the index. The items in the matrix object and then the items inside that list. Okay, so let me grab the item in the matrix object first. The matrix, let me grab that. Okay, so that's this list. Now if I want to grab an item inside that list, I'll simply do this. First, you grab the item in the matrix, then you grab the value inside the list. Okay, so I want to grab the 8. Okay, there you go. So that is all about list. As mentioned before, I will be talking about list comprehension in the future lectures, as we need to understand loops for that. And that's all. So I'll see you guys in the future lectures. I hope you guys enjoyed. Thank you so much.